first of all, national conservatism is kind of redundant. I mean, an Anglo-American conservatism, a traditional American conservatism or an English conservatism, it has the nation at the heart of it. Because these are biblical countries with biblical political traditions, and when you read Scripture, especially the Old Testament, you see that the nation in covenant with God, that's the political center of the political tradition that that these countries grow out of. So saying national conservatism, it's a little bit redundant. It's like saying family conservatism or religious conservatism. I mean, really, all of these things should be part of the inheritance of Britain and of America and at the dead center. The reason we ended up using this term is because for at least 30 years, I'm talking about after Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher left the stage, the people who followed, they took the word conservatism and turned it into something that I think it really had never been before, which is conservatism means liberal globalism. It means liberal internationalism. It means
like the neocons and the compassionate conservatives.
Right. Look, the neocons, but also libertarians and classical liberals. These are all variations on the idea that the only thing that's important is freedom. And that's the answer. If you've got individual freedom, you've got the answer for the whole globe, for the whole world. That's all people ever need. And that dominated, what both in America and Britain, that dominated what was called conservative politics for 30 years. Now, it's not conservative. All the young people keep saying to me, what did it conserve? And the answer is very, very little. So it's not really conservatism because it's not focused on the life of conservation and transmission, neither in our private lives nor in our national lives. So when after the Brexit Trump thing, when people started saying, look, this can't be our politics, is having the liberalism for the whole world and sending armies out in order to impose liberalism on countries, and free trade is the answer to all problems. When it started to become clear that just couldn't be, the answer to political life. So those of us conservatives who wanted to say, look, we have to put the nation back, we decided to call it national conservatism. It made a clear break between the neoconservatives who are internationalists, who are globalists, and the people who are saying, look, America and other democratic countries, there is such a thing as a nation. It has interests. It has traditions. It has its own religious direction to God. A nation is an actual thing, and it's strange that was controversial. It's still controversial. I mean, I don't think that Reagan or Thatcher would have thought that any of this is controversial, but people do. That's where we are. So national conservatism, the simplest way to think about it is in between the people who say the only thing that's important is individual liberty. They're kind of in the center of the political spectrum. And on the far right, there's people who say, no, it's all about race. In between is where the vast majority of conservatives are. They don't think it's only about freedom. They certainly don't think it's all about race. They think that the nation is something important and precious, and being part of the American nation, looking out for its interests, caring for its traditions, restoring what it used to be, that's a politics that they can support.